I'm Doth Savick, and this is the Fossa Skinny 2. This bag retails for $109, and all said and done, I paid $124 after tax or shipping, whatever else is added on there. It comes with a rainfly, unlike the CS2 that you see sitting in the background. That does not ship with the rainfly. As I review that CS2 and this bag, I'm going to compare the two. I think that they're close enough that it makes sense to compare them. So you may hear me reference that bag a couple times. With the rainfly, this bag weighs 1.47 kilos. If I take the rainfly off, then it's 1.38. That really brings us in at one of the lighter bags that I've ever reviewed. The next lightest bag on my list that I have reviewed is the Upper Park Shift at 1.13. That's a good chunk lighter. The next heavier one is the Prodigy BB2, and then basically everything else, with exception of a couple of ultralight bags. For the amount of discs that this bag carries, it is definitely earns a special spot on the list for being that light and carrying this many discs. It has a very unique open design to it, as you can see, with the tiered system of disc slots here, and then just full open area to grab your main discs. The downside of this design is that you don't have a whole lot of extra storage. You can see that the way that I have the bag laid out right now, I've even reserved some space in that main disc storage area, and I'm utilizing that for a towel. I've got an Nalgene in there. I've carried a couple extra beverages that way. It does have a full-size bottle carrier over here, and we've got a Nalgene that fits in there no problem. It has a draw cord on top, so you can cinch that down and make sure your bottle stays secure. But it doesn't have a bottle holder on the other side. So that's also one of the potential gripes of this bag. Overall lack of storage, and then the fact that it is only designed to carry one bottle. However, I don't mind taking up the space here because otherwise I'm just carrying like a crazy amount of discs. I've got 3 putters up on top, 2 puttered putters and a throwing putter, 2 more throwing putters below that, and then I've got a couple mids off to the side here, 3 mids in the center. That's 10 mids and putters altogether, and then 8 drivers. So I've got 18 discs in it just as it sits right here, and if I wanted to go fully loaded with discs, I've got another 6 drivers that just slides in no problem. I'm still not even packing the bag full. You know, I've got really have room for at least another mid, just depending on how tight I want to go there. But that's an awful lot of discs. It certainly has the ability. The couple other unique features we've got on this bag is, that was a whale sack that just fell out. I had a whale sack sitting in there with my putters. We've got a mini marker spot here and or scorecard. This is a little bit of a smaller mini, so it kind of gets swallowed up in that spot. If I put a bigger mini in there, I can still grab it easily. I really like that spot for scorecards. A lot of bags don't have a dedicated spot for scorecards or even a spot that you can use for that. And having a scorecard up there is really sweet. It just pops up nice and high. You have really easy access to that, and then you've got 2 pencil pockets sewn right next to it, so easy to grab your scorecard and pencil and go. They do have another pocket under here, and I just honestly haven't even used that. I don't see it. When I set the bag down, that's just not in my vision. This one is, so I've been using this for mini and for scorecard up there, and really you could fit the same here if you wanted. The storage that we do have on this bag, on your right shoulder, you have a spot that's dedicated to carry your phone. I actually have a little bit of stuff all the way on the bottom there. I got a little dog poop bag roll. So I've got, my phone's oversized. It's a bigger one, and it has no problem fitting in there. I have just tucked the flap in, but it does have a Velcro closure on top. And they've put clear plastic covering over that. It's not it doesn't allow me to interact with my phone. I can't unlock it or wake it up or anything like that. But if somebody were to call or text me and I, feel my phone vibrate, or if I've got it turned on, hear it ring or whatever, you can see what's going on your phone through that if you like. I haven't used that feature. It's not really, I don't know, on my radar, but that's what they talk about and why they put the clear fabric there. Down lower on this side, you have, you can fit, I had 3 putters in here at one point in time. This pocket really does carry a lot, and I've got 2 mids in there now, and they fit in there just fine. I do like that. I think that if I had the option, I would probably pull this off and have another bottle holder and smaller pocket. I feel like it carries plenty of discs otherwise, and I have really easy access to my discs, so I don't think I really need this over here. Although it is nice, it's on your back and you're tapping out a 5-footer or whatever. You can just reach on that side and pull a disc out, no problem. So you do have nice access, quick access to a couple extra discs. You can see that there's a different fabric being used here, and that wraps underneath and then covers a lot of the bottom of the bag. It's really, it's dirty as you can see, but also reflective. That's a thicker, very kind of plastic feeling coating, or that's just the entire fabric is made of that. I'm not sure. On this pocket on the side, I don't know how well you can see that. It's actually in 2 layers. Like the inside, it has the normal cordure or whatever fabric this is, and then on the outside, it's that rubberized fabric. This will help with some like waterproofing to some degree, and I'm guessing it has some different abrasion resistance as well, and that's why they would have put it on the bottom of the bag. On the furthest side of this, we got the little mesh pocket here that I have another mini in, and it is like a little elastic on the top. It's kind of stretchy. One thing that's a little bit funky about the way that that's done, that mesh fabric wraps around the bottom corner. So when I set the bag on the ground, this is getting hit as well, and I just don't think it's going to last long. If you're tossing the bag, dragging it back and forth, and you have this delicate mesh here, I just don't see it lasting, and that might really be a bummer if you don't realize it's fraying and then it splits and then a mini just falls out or whatever you have over there. So you're going to want to be careful using that pocket for anything, especially valuable. Definitely don't put your keys, wallet, or anything in there. That, really, they should have realized that was going to roll that way, and that probably depends a little bit on how many discs you have in there or not. But I can tell just from how it's picking up dirt and whatnot that it's definitely getting a workout on the ground already. And I haven't had this bag through a ton of rounds. I'm not super hard on my bags, but I definitely like to test them out. So it's been through some stuff. The front pocket that they've added here, it doesn't have that coating on the bottom for whatever reason. Aesthetics, I'm guessing. They wanted to keep that cleaner. It has a single zipper on there, and I've got my Sharpie in there on top. I was kind of hammering on, I think, that end of a bag that I reviewed about not having a specific spot to put a Sharpie, and then one of my buddies pointed out that I didn't even mention it on the Prodigy bags, and it's really kind of the same thing there, where there's not an awesome dedicated spot for a Sharpie. There's great spot on pound bags and grip bags, just the different size holders that they have. This is another example of a bag that doesn't have like an awesome spot for that Sharpie. You can bring it up here and put it in one of those pencil pockets, but how high that pokes out is, you're just asking to have it caught on stuff, so it's definitely not lived up there for me. So I've just been dropping it in this pouch, and that may be something that I just have to kind of get over with these different bags. If they don't have a specific, like the right height home for Sharpie, then it is what it is. I'm gonna have to trust that my caps aren't gonna pop off. I have a couple little bags in here. This is some cash and bag tags, stuff like that. And then another pouch with all my normal stuff, an extra scorecard in there, bug spray, sunblock, all of that. You really have a lot of room up here. I have jammed a jacket in there. That's like one of, when I say this bag has kind of a lack of storage, that would be one of the first things I'd criticize. Like if I want to carry an extra layer, a hoodie or a rain jacket, where's it going to go? I can possibly put that here. It does fit, but this is also other stuff that I really don't want to leave at home. It comes with me in pretty much any bag that I'm carrying. So if I'm going to do a jacket, it's probably going to come here, and I'm either going to bring less water or, really I could still put an Nalgene and a full jacket in there, and probably figure out a different spot to stuff my towel, maybe over here where I have these 2 discs. On the side with our bottle holder, we have another small pocket. This one bugs me a little bit. It's not perfect. It has a single zipper just like the front pouch, and it would have been awesome if this one had a double zipper. I have been putting my wallet and keys in here. There's room for more than that, really. Like here's a small Nalgene. I contemplated that, like actually trying to carry a beverage there, and not really. The zipper runs a little bit too low, and you don't want to I don't like the idea of putting stress on a zipper that way. So the size of the pocket I think is just fine. It works perfect for wallet, keys, and I can fit even just a little bit more stuff in there. The problem I have is once I've opened it like I have now, the zipper buries itself back against the water bottle. Like it's you're fighting a little bit to get to that zipper, especially when the pocket is full. On more than one occasion, I've realized I'm like in there trying to pull that zipper close, and I have to stop what I'm doing and actually look and get my second hand over there so that I can get a hold of that zipper and pull it up. So it's not awesome that it gets stuck. They could have stopped the zipper up on this corner. You could stop the zipper up on that corner if you are conscious of that and remember. That's one issue I have. The other thing that's just not perfect about it is that I can't zip it up from this side. So if they had done either a stop here and just had the zipper run the other direction, or add a second zipper pull onto it, then we'd be able to zip this up and leave the pocket partially open. And I guess why that bugs me is when I get to the course, I'm kind of back and forth to my car maybe a couple times as I'm warming up and juggling stuff from my dog. And, I'm like, I don't want my keys in my pocket while I'm practicing putting, so they go in here, but then I know I'm going to need my keys again. So I kind of wish that I had some sort of easier access to them. And if I could zip this side up, it would just be perfect, because I would have that little bit of opening on top where I could reach it and grab something, but it's not so far open that I'm worried about forgetting that I left it unzipped and having something fall out. It's kind of minor, but I mean, if you guys have watched my bag reviews, simple things like that do bug me on occasion. I've found on the last couple rounds that I have been playing with this bag, on more than one occasion, I have found myself with like 5 or 6 discs stuffed up here on top. If I'm playing a few holes and throwing the same disc over and over again, when I pick it up off of the fairway, instead of putting it back in its home, a lot of times it just goes up here. And that can happen for a few different discs. Like this is pretty happy to carry that much on top. And I mean, I'm going a little crazy with it right now, but they're not likely to fall out. It really holds them pretty securely. So I think that's cool. I really like all of that room up there. I think that on the last version of this bag, the most common complaint was issues with these shelves, or slots, pockets, whatever you want to call them. And I never saw the original version of the Skinny, so this is all like secondhand, third-hand knowledge. But whatever the attachment method was having issues. Velcro, broken stitches. I'm not sure what all was going on. But this new design looks really, really solid to me. The way that these are designed, you can see on this first one that it's continuous piece of fabric that comes all the way down. It's got a little pinch point sewn there, and then continuous piece of fabric keeps going, pinch point sewn here, and then it makes its way up to the back of the bag. Then the next piece of fabric underneath it does the same thing. So if I push my fingers down through here, I'm finding this piece of fabric. You can see how I have one finger poking out just barely. You can see there on each side of it. So this pocket also goes all the way to the back wall and then is sewn. That might be a little bit overkill, using a little bit more fabric than they needed to, adding some weight, but it makes for a super durable design. You're going to have to rip stitching off of the back here, and I've not seen issues with the stitching on this bag yet. The way that the back of the bag kind of pinches together, you can see how it looks a little bit narrower here than it does down here, and I found that to be true. For example, I have a habit here, which is pretty wide diameter, and it's not particularly easy to get in here. You can see I'm stretching the bag a little bit, and that's the same for up here. It doesn't want to just sit in that slot, but there is more room down here. So if you are looking to potentially put mids in there instead of putters, you're gonna have to think about how you lay that out a little bit. Definitely have room for the wider diameter up here, and then skinny works great on top. You could potentially do mids and fairways, a stack of them up there, maybe the most common ones you use, and a couple putting putters down here off the side even, like I mentioned, just for quick tap outs earlier. Moving to the back of the bag, we've got some unique stuff going on. This bag feels really interesting. It is unusually tall, and this is just coincidence really that I'm reviewing it so close after the end of a bag. That's the super short Super Hero Pack 2, which had just like the crazy short backpack straps, and the straps were sewn down really low. And this is just the opposite of that. It's so much different. You can see that the straps are sewn all the way up on top, and that's an unusual thing. Like if we just take it and compare it with this grip bag here, you can see that the straps on this are sewn just below the lip. So if I measure, we've got a little triangle piece of fabric here where the bottom of the strap attaches. And that's super common. That's done on a lot of bags. It's the same on this as well. You can see that triangle piece of fabric. So if I go from the center of the triangle and measure up to the top of the strap, on the Fossa bag, that's 17 inches. On pretty much every other bag, that's 15 inches. That goes for the Prodigy bags. It goes for the Pound bags. It goes for grip. All those are like really close to 15, and this is 2 inches higher. So it has a unique feel because of that. The other thing that's interesting is how close together these straps are mounted. And when I first got the bag in and put it on my back, I thought that was going to be an issue and maybe bug me. Because the straps are so close, I felt it on the sides of my neck, traps, whatever that's called. And I definitely felt extra friction there. It just caught my attention. And you can see how much difference that is on like the grip bag, for example. There's tons of room between those straps. In reality, once I got the bag out on the course, hiking around, I forgot about it. And it caused me no stress at all. I didn't have any issues feeling pressure there. I did realize that more often than normal, I was having both straps on my shoulders. And another fellow in one of the online communities, disc golf communities I'm in, had got this bag around the same time, and I asked him, did you notice you're wearing it on both straps? And he came back and said, yeah, actually I think I am. And I'm still not quite sure what to think about that. If it has, for one, may have to do with how much extra room you have height-wise at 17 inches, which makes it easier to tuck that second arm, when it's already on one shoulder, trying to get your elbow through or do the little contortionist move. You know what I'm talking about, to get that extra strap on. That's such a hassle on some bags that it dissuades you from trying, right? I think over time you're like, yeah, I'm just going to leave it on one shoulder. I'm just going to set my bag down in 90 seconds anyways, right? So kind of in the back of your mind, those things are going on. It's subconscious, not necessarily conscious. And that might be one of the factors in why I kept finding myself with both straps on, is because it was just so easy to do. The other thing, I then wondered if it was because the bag swings a little bit further off of my shoulder, so it feels like it's going to slip off. And maybe that's subconsciously why I kept putting the second strap on. So on the next round, the next time I had it out, I tried to keep that in mind and kept myself from putting the second arm through and just kept it on one shoulder. And it felt fine. I had no issues. It's kind of like usually it's on my left shoulder. The bag does swing left a little bit, so it kind of catches the inside of my elbow. And that's like a really familiar kind of stance to hold the bag that way. And that's the same for other bags. Like, I've not thought about that a whole lot until I started, messing with it on this one. I'm like, yeah, this actually feels really familiar. I've got my elbow on it so the bag doesn't swing too far out. And, thumb inside the strap to keep it on my shoulder. So it's not that it's any more uncomfortable or difficult to carry. Something about it I end up wearing it with two straps on, and overall it's super comfortable. It does have a relatively stiff frame to it, stiff back, but it's also very skinny. It is. I don't have the Shift, the Upper Park Shift V6 anymore, but during that review, I kept saying how comfortable it was over and over again. I think that this rivals it. Like, the Shift does have a waist strap even, which is next level comfort-wise, or, for feeling of security, but this bag is there. Like, it feels super streamlined. It's so skinny. Your elbows don't hit it when you're moving. I feel like I'm ready to go terrorize, run through some woods, and jump and kick off whatever. It just makes me feel very athletic having such like a skinny, relatively lightweight bag on. I love the feel of it. It does not have a sternum strap, and I actually didn't realize that until just before recording. I'm like, I write myself notes sometimes, so I try to remember any important things I come up on, and I do use sternum straps on bags. But usually it's because my shoulders hurt. Like, if my back is aching, my shoulders are aching from a heavy bag or whatever I'm carrying, then I'll try to adjust that load. And one of the easiest ways for me to adjust it or change the pressure points is to just clip that sternum strap in. And this bag doesn't have one, which is not great. But I guess it's great that I didn't even realize it. I've never reached for the sternum strap and be like, oh, I wish I could adjust where this load is hitting me. It hasn't happened yet. The straps on here are pretty thick. They have a single stitch down the center to keep the padding strap from rolling on the padding or whatever. It is relatively dense. I don't think it's quite as dense as the padding inside the Prodigy straps, but it's every bit as comfortable. I really like the straps on here. It does have the little Velcro keepers for the tails. If you want to roll that extra strap up and Velcro it down so it's out of your way, you've got that ability. I've just left these long for now. I have found my home, so to speak, for those straps. We've got 3 pads on the back, and they're relatively thin. So this is starting to change my opinion a little bit. I'm usually really hard on bags that have a rigid piece down here on the bottom where that's hitting top of my butt or my lower back, and this does have that. You can see that little reflective point there where I'm pushing the fabric in, and that's a hardboard that's on the bottom poking out under my thumb right here. Something about the specific way this one is designed, though, I do not feel that on my back. If it's just that how tall this is fits me perfectly. Like this might be very specific. This might be very specific to me and is not going to be comfortable for some others. But the fact that there's this little bit of play here, or the positioning of this pad, something just fits just right on my lower back, and I don't feel this at all. It's not pushing into my back. So again, I found it to be very comfortable. The back is padded in addition to the 3 pop-out pads that we see. They've put, and I don't know how thick that is, that's probably 3/8 of an inch of padding that covers the entire back. And maybe that's really what I feel here on the very bottom instead of that rigid insert. Anyways, like I said, it's making me doubt a little bit. I thought for sure that to have a superior feeling pack, you needed a soft bottom and you needed the back to be flexible enough to wrap a little bit, which is how the Octothorpe and Octohaul are set up. But this bag is not that way. It's got the rigid bottom panel in there, and it's got a stiffened back all of the way, even though it is a skinnier back. And I find it just super comfortable. You can see that this is a water bowl for my dog that I've got hanging here, and that's also where I've put her leash. So it's a couple other items that you usually don't see on my bag because they're stuffed inside of a pocket and I just don't have a spot to put them. So the water bowl hangs perfectly there, and I'll bundle the leash and also strap it in. They've got this also marketed as umbrella and stool holder, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I've not been carrying stools for a while now, so I can tell you that if I was strapping a stool into here, the feet of the stool are either going to be pushed down into this pocket or it's going to take up the water bottle holder. One of those two is where the feet of the stool are going to go. And it'd be the same thing with an umbrella. I'd need a bottom, spot to secure umbrella or stool. I do really like that they have the quick release buckle on there, and I don't think I've seen that on any other umbrella or stool attachment. Usually it's just a buckle. I don't know what to call it. A buckle like is on the strap right here, where you can pull it back and forth, but you cannot disconnect that completely, and unless the webbing's thin enough, you could feed it through, I guess. But super tedious if you wanted to take it apart. And the quick release is such an awesome idea. I really like it. It helps me get the leash out quick if I want, or release the dog bowl. And that, for example, this would be so much more of a pain to thread up through the top and then try to get it at the right distance so that I could hang that from the D-ring. Whereas with the quick release, then I don't even have to adjust it. I can just take it out and put it right back on. You do have a single D-ring, only D-ring on the one side. You could hang stuff off of this as well if you wanted. I was going to bring my sunglasses in here, but I forgot. The sunglasses that I'm using right now are, I don't know, I need to just throw them out and get a different pair. But they have very weak wings on them. So if I try to collapse them and hang them off of something, like this, for example, they're just going to fall off. But the way that the slot is formed here, this makes the absolute perfect spot to hang a pair of sunglasses off either side. And even with those sunglasses that I have, as you hear my dog coughing, even though the sunglasses are so weak, they're held really firmly in here. It's just a small thing, but it made me really happy when I figured it out. The final thing that I'll show you on this bag is the Rainfly, and I'm kind of mixed on this. I have not played through a wet round, so I haven't had my hands in it a whole bunch, other than just putting it on to test it a little bit and taking it back off. And I don't love the design, and you'll see why after I get it on. I like how it attaches, though. It's awesome. You have these 2 snaps sewn in here, and those fit right on the top corners. You can see on both corners they have a little snap sewn on. So it makes it really easy to know where to start, and you know where your home is. you just come up and snap those in. This is elastic all the way around. So for the rest of it, I just need to start getting stretchy with it and pull it down under. As you can see, it covers the entire bottom of the bag. So that's the second thumbs up. The snaps are one thumbs up. The covering the bottom of the bag is the second. That's awesome. If you're really playing in snow or rainy round or whatever, you want to be able to keep the bottom of your bag dry. This is why I don't like this. This is the thumbs down though. This is the big issue. The opening, the one opening that they've put in there, doesn't lift high enough for you to see all that sweet disc storage on top. You can still get those discs. You can lean this back and peek in there and reach up on top and grab a disc and kind of bend it out of there. But really, if you're gonna use this Rainfly, you're probably gonna rearrange discs so that your priority discs aren't up on top, because that's just not a spot that you're gonna want to reach to. You're gonna start like unbuttoning one corner to get in there, something of that sort. It's just funky. It looks like it was half, in part way it was designed perfect for the bag with the position of the snaps and the way that it fits across the bottom. Like that's all awesome. But then like what is all of this? What is going on here? Why is there so much fabric up here? And then why does the top not actually lift up so I can see the discs on top? Like, they were so close. They were so close to this Rainfly just being awesome. But it's halfway awesome instead. The flap does have a couple pieces of Velcro. So it'll, kind of secure if it's getting really windy or whatever. You can still see it's not like overlapping great. Just the fit through this front and top is just funky. But for the most part, I think it'd keep your stuff dry. This is not going to be the most pleasant Rainfly to use when it's on there. They still get big points for sending it free, including it with the bag. Unlike I kind of poked at the Grip CS over there, that it doesn't come with the Rainfly, and in fact the Rainfly for it I don't think is available right now. They're sold out. I'm pretty excited about this bag. I really disliked the last Fossa bag that I reviewed, and it was a bag that I reviewed earlier on, and I've not wanted to even look at Fossa since then because that thing was just ridiculous. Insanely heavy bag. So I'm really pleased to have a bag from Fossa that I can say good things about, and quite a few good things about. It's still a little bit of an odd duck. There's just some funky things about it, kind of storage-wise, and the massive number of discs that it can carry is a little bit of an imbalance to how relatively little storage of other stuff it has. I don't think there's another bag that I've carried and where I'm never utilizing the full amount of discs for the bottom slot and carrying stuff over here. A lot of times I'll do that part-time with a bag, and then when I get to like a tournament round or whatever where I'm carrying doubles and triples of every mold, then all that stuff gets taken out. But I'm not sure I would carry this bag in a quote-unquote tournament type round like that. Because for those rounds, yes, I want doubles and triples of most of my molds, especially the more important ones. But then I'm also carrying like a larger than normal gear set of other stuff. Extra fluids, I'm carrying snacks, for sure, extra layers potentially if there's any way needed. So my bag just gets heavier all around in those type of rounds, not just with the amount of discs I'm carrying. And that's kind of where this one would fall short. So I'm not sure it's set up for that. And that means it potentially shines as a casual bag, but then it maybe carries too many discs for the casual round. And that's definitely how I feel about it. And that's why I'm utilizing like a huge chunk of space for for other stuff in there. I don't know. I think it's a cool concept. One of the first things, like just with how much weight it looks like it has on top, it looks like it would really be a tip over friendly bag. And I'm going to shake my desk a bunch, and my mic would make weird noise if I showed you this, but I played with it a lot, and like tipping the bag far in one direction, then letting it go. And this thing just springs back. Like, it is not a bag that's going to tip over. I think that most other bags I've tried tip easier than this one. So don't let that dissuade you if you're worried about it tipping over on steep hills, stuff like that. I'm sure you can get it in a situation where it is going to tip, but for the most part, it really wants to stand upright. So I think it's an awesome bag. I think for the price, I don't know what bag beats this for the price. I think that it is it's my favorite bag. It's my favorite bag that I've reviewed that's close to that, $100, $125 mark. There's nothing else. The Shift would be the next closest one, but that bag's not available right now. It's sold out, and it is more expensive. And comfort-wise, it is close. This bag stores more gear. This bag stores more discs. I still think even it beats the Shift. Like if I had to pick between those two, between this and the Shift, for which bag I would use as my only bag, it would be the Fossa. I would take the Skinny. I would take the Skinny too, for sure. I'd like to see more bags, more of these out there. I think people are going to be really pleased. The thing that maybe would make me eat my words is if there's quality control issues. I know that existed on the first version of the Skinny, and using this bag for a number of rounds over weeks is just not enough for me to really be able to comment on quality. I've not had threads pulling in the same way that I showed on the Prodigy BP1V2 and BP1V3. I feel like the material overall in this bag is tougher, with exception of this little mesh pocket on the side. So if they hold up in the long run, I think that this is one of the best bargains for bags that's out there right now. So I appreciate you guys for watching always. I hope I've given you some good information on this bag to help you make a decision on what the next one is going to be that you carry. I've got the Grip CS2 in the background. I have not carried that for one round yet. It just came in, and then I've still got other stuff that I want to get out to you. My pound octo haul that we see up on the shelf there, I have used that one a ton. I'm just going to slide that review in whenever I get the chance. And then I've got an old MVP Voyager up there. I'd like to get some of the new Voyagers in and be able to do a comparison, old versus new. And then on the end of the shelf, you see my pink Fade Crunch Box, which I've carried for a number of rounds. I've had that one a little bit longer than my Octo Haul even. And I think that's a super cool bag. So I'm looking forward to get reviews out to you on all of those, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks.